Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. So today I'm just going to do a quick video for doing a fabric collage slash masterboard. So first of all, I think everybody knows what a collage is. But some of you may not know what a masterboard is, and it's used a lot in junk journaling and things like that, a lot of paper crafts. So basically, I'll put this up here. This is your typical masterboard. It's made out of paper, and you just take a bunch of paper and you just kind of collage it on to another piece of paper. And this is basically for a background when you're making a tag or a journal card or ATCs. You've already got a background made. You can just cut it out and you embellish it from there. And so that basically that's what we're doing with the fabric instead of using paper. So this is the one that I made. I kind of went with a pink theme. I don't have a lot of fabric. So I had to get a little creative, and I think that's why I used a lot of lace on this one, because I just didn't have a lot of pink. I was going for a pink shabby chic type of thing. But this is just on a piece of cardstock. And what I did was I gave myself a base of, I have these flour sack cloths. I got them at Walmart, and I tea dyed them, and then I set that as my base because I wanted it a little bit more grungy, a little bit more darker. So I laid that down on my paper first, and then I just kind of started taking pieces and ripping them apart, and then I glued everything down. So I'll show you a few things. And this is for the swap that we're going to be doing in creative. What's the name of my group? Creative Christian Crafters. Man, I'm sorry. We had a really busy day yesterday with my granddaughter's birthday party, and it is so quiet in my house right now, and it's kind of thrown me off because I'm used to having a lot of noise around me, and it's just so quiet. So anyways, I'm glad I remembered. But these are, I use these pieces, and one I'm going to show you here in just a second. But I just have, most of my fabric was all one pieces. I started tearing them apart when I did that collage over there, but I just have a whole bunch. I have some that are tea dyed. Butterflies are tea dyed. I think I did that, and then I have some of this, and so I just have a big variety of, not a big variety, but big pieces of variety, because most of these are very small, and most of these were gifted to me. I think most of them came from Yanette, to be honest with you. But I typically don't use a lot of fabric in my crafts. So this was actually a table runner, and I just took it apart and tea dyed it. You could use stuff like that. So I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what you can use, because you can use anything. It doesn't have to be color coordinated. You don't have to go with a theme. I kind of like things coordinated. I try to do randomness on a lot of my crafts, and I don't know, it doesn't really come out all that great. I'm not very good at it, or to me, it just doesn't look right to me. I'm kind of really particular and meticulous, and I would love to be able to be one of those crafters that can just kind of throw things together and it look great and they're done. But that doesn't happen to me, and that's why I'm not going to do so much a tutorial for this. I just wanted to try to give you an example, because if I did a tutorial, we would be here for hours because it takes me hours to put this together to where it looks good to me. So this is the other one that I put together, and I kind of went with a blue theme. I had a lot of this butterfly fabric, a lot, and so I wanted to. I like the blue and everything, and so I had a little bit of blue fabric, so I pulled some of. You can see the blue here. There's a few blue flowers over here and here in the lines. This one's a little a green, and so I thought it would do good with the green that you see in the butterfly over there. So basically, and this is for the swap in our group, you're going to take just an 8.5 by 11 a sheet of paper. And for some of you, we did do a swap like this a while back, and it was like this one with just the paper, and you cut them up into tags, and you sent them to your partner. For this one, I didn't want you to cut it up because I know we have some ladies who like to do just fabric. They're not so much into a lot of paper crafting. Because I thought something like this would be good. You know, somebody sends you something, you can cut a piece of it out, put some embellishments on it, buttons, flowers, things like that, and put it in a frame, you know. So that's another option if you weren't necessarily going to cut this up and use it for tags or journal cards or things like that. So, like I said, you want an 8.5 by 11. You want something a little sturdy. That's why I said cardstock. You could always use the back of a 12 by 12 piece of paper and cut that down too. You really don't want to have any, you want it to be a solid color when you're doing this, especially if your fabric is going to be able to, is light and you're going to be able to see it underneath the fabric that you choose. So I had this one pretty much all put together. I added a few things right before before I started to record this. I had it originally excuse me, like that, and I knew I wanted something in here, so I just found this piece and I just put that there, and then that piece over it like that. And then I had a blank spot here, so I just found a little piece of blue from that butterfly fabric, and I just put it up underneath here. So you just wanted to tell you that you do not have to sew. I do not have, well, I have like a little mini sewing machine that I haven't had time to play with yet. And I mean, it's mini, it's like a baby machine. It's like for a child, which is something I probably need because I can't even remember the last time I used a sewing machine. Probably when I was a little girl, and it didn't happen that often. So I have no experience using a sewing machine. But I would suggest that if you're going to sew, and since we're doing this on paper, I would suggest you use a glue stick to glue everything down, and then run it through your sewing machine. You can just sew the border if you wanted to. You could sew around all your little pieces. I think that would look so cool. And I would like to do that, but like I said, I have no sewing machine skills. You don't, like I said, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to do it in a theme. It doesn't have to be color coordinated. I just happen to do the colors because it's what I had, because I don't have a lot, and I didn't want a lot of repeat of the same thing all over. You want to kind of have a good variety on there, and and that's the reason why I cut my 8.5 by 11.5, because it didn't have enough fabric to do a whole page because I just don't have a lot of fabric, which I'm hoping to change. Usually I just buy a lot of muslin, and then it's things that I can tea dye, or I use my ink on it and change the colors of stuff. So that's what I went with, what I had. And luckily I had these really pretty pieces of fabric, and they were small enough that I could fit them all in here. So if you're going to sew, I would suggest use a glue stick and glue it all down. You don't have to, but I watch a lot of craft videos, and I see that's what a lot of other crafters suggest you do, is to use a glue stick when you're going to sew on something. So since I'm not doing that, oh, and I also wanted to tell you, I love the ripped look. So of course all of my fabric is ripped, and there's not a lot of videos out there of this process, but most of them, everybody ripped their fabric because it's a big thing in junk journaling and stuff like that, to have those ragged edges. But you don't have to. You can cut your pieces and lay your pieces out however you want. But so for this, and since I've already have it down the way I want it, I don't want to change anything, and I don't want to lose anything. I am going to use a matte gel medium to adhere my fabric. Now you can use just regular glue to do this, but make sure that you spread your glue out if that's what you're going to do, because you don't want any bumps or lumps, and if you just kind of go through with the glue and kind of make a bunch of squiggly lines and start, it's just not going to look good. So the other thing I wanted to show you, and I do this a lot, especially with stuff like this, or even when I'm doing layouts on a tag or anything like that, because I always put things together before I glue anything down. And I think it's called reverse gluing, or reverse something, or something like that. And that's when you are gluing from the top to the bottom, or I don't remember what I called it. But basically it's, you have everything laid out. You don't want to lose your layout. You want it just the way it is. And so you start gluing from the top to the bottom type of gluing. And that's what I like to do. Another suggestion, and I've done this in the past, is I've had a layout, and then I take a picture on my phone, and I keep the picture beside me as I'm going back and gluing things down. So that's another option. But so I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit of this reverse gluing. So I'm just going to kind of pull my fabric back, and I'm just going to, and I found that, you know, it doesn't have to be a really thick layer, because you really don't want a lot of lines or bumps or anything like that. And then I just kind of lay that down, and I kind of press it down. And then I'm going to come over to this corner here, and I'm going to do the same thing. And like I said, you can use just regular glue. You can use like maybe some Eileen's. Just make sure that it's something that you can spread, so you're not getting a bunch of lumpy lines and stuff like that. So then I'll kind of go through and I'll kind of look at my pieces, and like I know this is, I'll kind of pull some of my pieces back. So I know this one is overlapping here. So I'll just kind of go in and glue that down. I don't use too much. And then I'll do this next piece here. And then I think for this one, I love the layout as it is now. I know on the other one, I added lace and things like that. I think for this one, I'm just going to leave it, because you don't want to decorate. This is not about decorating what you've made. This is about just making a collage, keeping it simple. And then it's up to your partner. Excuse me, you can hear my dog wandering. And then it's up to your partner how they want to cut it up and use it. I'm just going to go in here and pull this piece back. Put that down. And put that down. So you kind of get the idea. I don't think I'm going to do this whole thing. And then the nice thing is that you can use Mod Podge too if you wanted to. Or glue or whatever. So I think you kind of get the idea of how this works if you're going to go ahead and do this reverse method, or you could be one of those people that just can glue as you go, and that sort of thing. And like I said, I wish I could do that, but I'm just too picky. I'm too much of a perfectionist sometimes when it comes to the things I make. So I'm not going to finish the whole thing because I wanted to kind of keep this kind of simple, but so I think you get the idea. So for those of you in the Creative Christian Crafters, look, I remembered the name of the group. What you're going to do is you're going to use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and you are going to make yourself a fabric collage. Use any kind of fabric you have, any colors. You want to do it by a color, that's fine. You want to do a theme like I kind of did with the butterflies, do that. Or just random pieces of paper. It's up to you, because it's going to be up to your partner of how they're going to use it. So you're going to use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. Make sure it's thick so it can handle the weight. And it won't warp. It's not, I mean, it'll warp a little bit, but it's not that bad. And then you can add lace and things like that. I did add these little tiny roses here, but I basically just kept it simple with some lace and a little bit of muslin that I dyed. So I think that's it. I hope this is helpful. I didn't find a lot of videos out there of what I kind of imagined how I wanted this to look. I did run across one that I'm going to reference in the swap, and she basically had it down to what I pictured in my mind. The only difference is that she sewed hers onto a piece of fabric and not a piece of cardstock, which you won't be doing. You'll be putting it on a piece of cardstock. And then she decided to turn what she made into a journal cover, and it came out really, really, really pretty. And she was just one of those people that could just take pieces and just kind of, put them all together. And unfortunately, it takes me too long. And I would show you, but we'd either have an hour-long video, or I could fast forward, but I have no idea how to do that. So that's it. It's quick, it's simple, for most people. For people like me, it takes an hour. But anyways, so if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks. Hope you have a great day.